You miss Varric's chest hair. Okay. How about this? Since we have to wait for 13 minutes, how about if I cosplay as Varric for you guys? How you mean not the same? What? You know, let's face it. This game is not going to be perfect. We are not all going to like everything about it. Because that's how it is with every game. But, let's also face it. We waited 10 years for this game. So, let's hope that there is more good than bad. And we can still enjoy it. The following footage was captured from software in development and takes place very early in the game. It has been edited for brevity and to avoid any...
Nev's as good at finding people as you claim.
If she says she's got a lead on Solus, I believe her.
It looks really good. It looks really fucking good. Nice ass!
But I didn't...
We've got to help her.
Oh, crap. She'll get us to Dumont Plaza.
Watch out!
Okay, that's looking cool as fuck.
I guess as the veil is weakening.
This is looking better than the trailer, come on! This is looking a lot better than the trailer. This looks amazing. I find that the world and the ambient design is really good.
You're safe now. The ritual must be weakening the veil. There are a lot of scared people out here.
Haven't seen this many come through the Fade in years.
Just the
What about you
characters.
two? Are you okay?
You're looking a little bit off. Mass Effect wheel?
Have you got my gear?
Oh god.
Right over there.
The Venatori got to her
But that's
first.
okay. It's okay. It's not a deal
Before we
breaker.
arrived and paid off the bar owner to keep it quiet.
Don't worry. Scouting's my specialty. Follow me.
Eyes up. We've
She's
got company.
The combat looks like... Honestly, it feels like kind of like a better version from what they had in Inquisition. It's hard for me to judge combat without actually
I think
feeling
that's
it.
the last of 'em.
I don't know how responsive it
Let's get to
feels,
Dumont
especially when it
Plaza
comes to
and find
active
Nev.
combat.
Patch yourselves up
It
if you
really
need it.
requires me to have the controller in my hands and press the keys to know how it feels. By just looking at it, it's just really hard to say anything about it. But
I don't get it.
I don't think there's a lot of
Tears down the veil. Doesn't that
strategy
destroy
going
everything?
on.
Solus Venatori cultists!
That's cool, he could parry that.
I hate these assholes.
It's okay. It's okay.
Looks
Oh!
like the Venatori put
I
up a
like that.
barrier to
I like that you
block
can
the way.
push enemies off. I don't think if you were expecting combat like Origins, I think you were setting yourself up for disappointment, right? Because the combat has been striving away from strategy for a while. But it's hard to tell what you can do with your teammates. Because apparently you can only control one character. It seems that it's a lot less open than Inquisition, but then again, this is a very linear story part, because it's probably in the very beginning of the game. Oh, it's the very beginning of the game, that's why he barely has any skills or anything, so it's hard to judge things like class and builds when we have so little to go on. Inquisition had a similar way to... This is cool! It's cool how you can freeze to cast a spell. Yeah, this is a lot faster than Inquisition, but you know. I think I need to try. I need to play to see if I like the combat or not.
Not the worst timing.
We haven't got a lot of time. Varric said you had a lead on Solus?
You get right to the point.
The wheel had... He picked something in the wheel, but he didn't say what he picked.
I haven't seen Solus in person.
I feel like my biggest beef with this is the wheel so far.
Lady of Victory.
The tremors are getting worse.
You've got demons.
Those look really cool. The environment looks really nice. Those look really cool. The enemies that we've seen so far look great. They look a lot better than the Dork Spawn. I always thought that other games didn't use the wheel because it was a bad system. But then I actually figured out that apparently the wheel is
I thought the
patented.
demons were bad back in Minrathous.
We have to stop this demon quickly.
That's a pride demon? Didn't those have nice boobies? No, which one had the nice boobies? Oh, the desire one. Sorry, thank you. Sorry, I was just thinking of boobs, okay? It definitely doesn't look like there is a lot of strategy involved in the combat. It feels more hack and slash.
How did a demon this large get through the veil?
It's a pride demon. Damn thing probably sensed Solus's ego.
That one was a good one. Come on. That skill was cool. Whenever they use a skill, it looks really cool. The problem is it feels like they hardly use skills. I wonder what a brood mother would look in this game. Do you guys think that this is what Blizzard was envisioning for the PvE Overwatch?
To help him justify changing his mind.
Yeah, they have like no skin textures though.
I gotta try to reach him.
They kind of look like
If he
Instagram
won't
models.
listen to me. Hey, Chuckles. Hope I'm not interrupting. People are dying right now. You need to listen.
Wait, did he break Bianca?
People are always dying.
It's okay, she'll be fixed.
We need a better plan.
Some super glue.
Take the shot.
You two stay here.
You know, for
I'll
a
bring down the
gameplay trailer, I expected to see more variation of gameplay and a little
Could
bit,
tear you apart.
less of
Anyone got a
cutscenes.
better idea?
Because things like the story, I feel like that's the kind of stuff we want to find out by ourselves. I was just kind of hoping something that would show like your abilities, how your classes would look like later down the road. It didn't need to show like anything story based, but how the gameplay feels, especially because it seems to be that they went for something different and more new than, you know. So show that off. That's a big head. They tried to give Solus a big head, but he denied it. This looks really good. I think that the environment, the atmosphere of the game was nice. It felt really dark in this. But the characters, they felt, I don't know, like their features were so exaggerated. I think he's the most realistic looking character. I find that all the elves and all the dwarves, they're so exaggerated. When you're talking about fantasy, sometimes to make that fantasy more realistic, you need to tie it with things in the world that are relatable. So the magic seems more, how do I say this? The magic seems more believable. And you have within those rules. And they just look like, they look too exaggerated. They look more aliens than some aliens in Mass Effect. Varric looks really hot. But again, it's the exaggeration that's kind of, you know. It looks good here. Kind of miss some chest hair more up. Yeah, it's definitely more similar to Dragon Age Inquisition, but I find that in Dragon Age Inquisition, the faces of the characters, they were very... They felt more natural, you know? Like, the faces, like Solus looks like an exaggerated version of himself. I hope that The story is good. The gameplay is definitely feels a lot more action. It doesn't look bad. I mean, this kind of gameplay, it's hard to look bad, right? It just depends on how it feels. And for that, we would need to play. I love the scenery. The scenery looks really nice. Like the raindrops on the road. It looks so pretty. Look at that.
You don't want to look,
Look at this. That's
Just
very
get out of
pretty.
here nice and casual. Fine.
So also here, he's a rogue. Some of you guys commented that the playstyle is a little bit too fast for you. Rogues usually have a faster playstyle. It's likely that the other classes they are a lot slower. I find it hard to judge the quality of the dialogue with so little, and so little in the beginning that we are taking. But it seems like a lot of times they're just reaffirmating whatever they're showing. It's like, yes, we're in a hurry, we're hurrying, but you know, we just run. We don't need to stop and talk and about this all the time. But again, it's hard to know. I like this. Look, I really like this screen. I don't know how it is to use this, but it seems to add some interesting times where maybe bringing the right spell and using the right skill will come in place. I do believe that this is better looking and than the trailer, but it still feels very lighthearted. You know, like the world is ending, everything's falling apart, people are dying, and they're making cheesy jokes. And don't get me wrong, I love when there's a lighthearted joke in the middle of things, but it felt like it was a little bit much. It felt like it wasn't that serious. It felt like a fake urgency. I feel like it definitely has like improvements from that Dragon Age Inquisition. If I remember right, you couldn't even dodge in Dragon Age Inquisition, could you? And in this game, apparently, there is an active dodge. It seems like the enemies stagger way too easily. Like if they're going for a more active combat, like that enemy didn't do anything against them. He just stood there and died. You see, there is just a lot of staggering. So as long as you keep pressing buttons, it feels like you're not in danger. It's the very beginning of the game though, so we don't know what's coming. It could be that it's on purpose. That's very, you know. You guys, can I be honest with you guys? I am just kind of unsatisfied with what we saw today, you know? We literally saw some gameplay of some level 1 combat, that rogue that had like barely 3 skills, and the game didn't look bad, you know? The game looked beautiful, but I have to believe that the marketing for this game is so awful. How the hell do you hype people for a gameplay trailer and all you do in the gameplay is play with a level 1 character that literally just spams auto attack most of the time? Because the game is more than that, right? Like how comes in a gameplay trailer you don't show more than that? I just really feel like we just don't have enough info to go about. They didn't even show us like the character creation, the classes you can choose, some of the skills you can choose, some of the subclass. Is there any info on that? Uniting a cast of, yes, romanceable companions, and as you fight against ancient elven gods in this crafted character-driven RPG, you must visit meticulously crafted biomes and beautiful regions. With this, I really believe their words, because the environment was definitely beautiful. You begin by diving into the character creator. You will choose your class, lineage, gender, overall appearance, and more. Choosing which faction Hook is part of will unlock different narrative dialogue and gameplay interactions. Combat is another area that has a lot of depth to it. The game will support various skills levels, but at its core, Dragon Age Veilguard has a fluid movement-to-movement combat where you can choose between 3 classes, Warrior, Mage, or Rogue. There is also a layer of tactical depth for those who want to dig in. You know, the reason why I'm a little bit bothered by all this, okay, is that if they're telling us this, why they didn't show us this? Like, why? Like, even having like one of the devs come up in that gameplay show before showing us the trailer and explaining that there will be more. Today they're just showing this, you know. It would have made things more easy to digest. The problem is not the game. I feel like the problem is the marketing for this game is just dreadful. Like in the game, this menu here, it was a bunch of like squares that didn't have any of those portraits or any of those skills. When you tell me of a gameplay showcase, I imagine that we would see at least like a little bit of each class. The game might be great. We just can't know because this marketing is just so weird. For you to find any information on this game, you have to rely on going on Google. You have to rely on reading random tweets. Not everyone uses Twitter. Not everyone uses that kind of stuff, especially when it comes to gaming. If they're trying to gather the interest of people, the people need to dig in to find the interesting parts. And they should be screaming the interesting parts. Like, somebody told me that I shouldn't have reacted to the trailer like that because I was supposed to look at leaks. But there was a bunch of cool things. But here's the thing. When all you do is put the prologue of the game and you don't talk anything, you don't discuss what's going on with your audience, people will just say, oh, this looks like a hash and slash game. And I've seen tons of these. I'm not interested. As you can see, the gameplay in Dragon Age is great. Or at least, we assume it's great. Look at that fucking ass! Showing the gameplay of one class at level 1, of course it's going to look boring. Every video game, if you go to a level 1 class, it's gonna look like ass. But that's part of my point. They are failing to market the game. They should have shown what a class can do at some point. What they can reach. Look, this is a gameplay showcase with more dialogue than gameplay. But look, you can jump because jumping was introduced in Dragon Age Inquisition. So you can jump and you can also jump and plunge attack. It's something you can do, which is cool. And then apparently there's also some form of combo attacks that you can use. You can dodge. We just show it, the character dodging. You can swap weapons really fast in the middle of combat. You can do heavy attacks because he was definitely holding something and charging something. And here's the thing. All those things that I'm noticing right now, it was hard to notice when we were first watching it because it was like we had to decipher it in the middle of so much information. If there is not somebody is stopping to tell you what's going on, is stopping to tell you your options, it just looks like generic combat that you have seen 10,000 times. So this page that they showed on the trailer, they actually had something better to show. So this, believe me or not, those are the same. So this UI is basically how you control your companions, and you can use different skills on your companions. However, when we were watching the trailer for the first time, we couldn't have guessed that because those were all grayed up squares. Here you have your own skills, here you have your companion's skills, and you can actively use your skills from this menu. It's just not that anything that we saw was bad. It was just missing context. It was missing a little bit more of understanding what that information was. Because one thing is when you show a game that everyone is familiar about and you just show that and you move on. That's one thing. But when you're talking about RPGs, those games usually they come with complex mechanics, they come with complex systems that maybe you should just talk about them just a little bit, just to introduce them. Because before I saw this screenshot now, I couldn't have guessed that this is how you control your companions and you can use different skills in here. The game might be great, but You need to dig in really deep and look at the very little details to see what's exactly going on. We just don't know much. Look, there's clearly something here. Hold on. Now, we don't know why, but before, there was only the 8 arrows that we could shoot, okay? And now, there is those 3 skills down here. 2 of them are grayed out, and there is also this charge bar. We have no idea how the hell that bar is charged. But eventually, here, you see? Look at that skill. It's so fucking cool. So he used half of his skill bar. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that attack does. I just can't know, you know? The ability wheel is used to issue commands directly to your companions. And also, we have the skill, Fire Shoe boats, each dealing damage independently, but traveling along the same path. Look! That's cool as heck! And the cooldown seems pretty fast. You can also recover if you get knocked down. The entire game looks like an awesome game. What most people are complaining and people are upset about is that sometimes information is being thrown without explaining. And biggest of all, people waited 10 years for this game. And in 10 years, a lot has changed. And none of this is being, you know, explained in a tasteful manner to people so far. The information is just being thrown at you. So people are a little bit shocked because they are getting a game that they didn't expect, because it's different than the Dragon Age that they remember, because it has been 10 fucking years. Nobody's saying that this game is the worst game ever, like, because that's just unreasonable. It's just is not what people were expecting. This is what I mean, that things feel more exaggerated. All his features, he has a skinny face and is like skinnier. He has a big nose, it's bigger. His forehead is more forward. He looks like an exaggerated version of himself. It's a change in style, and that's fine that the change exists and all this, but it's still a little bit shocking for people who waited 10 years to see that character again. That's it, you know? He kind of looks like an Instagram model, right? He looks less of a person. That's why I say the Instagram model, you know? Some Instagram models, they just don't look like people. They're just exaggerated people without skin textures. He kind of looks like Wolverine. That doesn't make the game awful or make it a great game. It's just taste preference. I personally prefer this one. You see what this is? This gives me Mass Effect vibes, the suicide mission. Maybe there will be a point in this game where, depending on the companions that you have and their skills, if you leave one of them behind, they will die forever, and we're all gonna be sad. The game has the skeleton to build something interesting with this tool, okay? That's what I'm saying. Right now, we're just going to push a pillar like idiots, but it's because we're level 1. We're in the beginning. We're still getting smart. This inspires a lot more hope than the trailer from 2 days ago. Again, there is still some changes to the design, to the face of the characters that I'm not a fan of. That's, you know, that's okay. I just need to know more. I personally find that the environment is beautiful, even with the neon lights in fantasy. That's cool, you know? I don't know. It's a cool style. I like it. The game looks pretty. The combat looks smooth, looks fluid. We can't know how much depth it will have, how little depth of it will have, because we only saw a level 1 character in the prologue, and how much can you tell from that, you know? But yeah, that's basically it.